Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. I want to talk to you about 3 things today. 3 important things. And one is gratitude, which is always important to have gratitude for the things that you are blessed with. And the second is being careful not to be distracted even for a minute. And we'll go over that in more detail. And the third is looking at the world through a different lens. I think when you adjust your thinking, when you become real clear about what the world is to you and where your place is in it, I think there is a much broader world than we have ever even imagined. And when you reach the point where you can look at it through that lens, through those clear eyes, it's a whole different world, and you are a part of it. You are connected to it. But first, we're going to talk about gratitude. And we all say we're grateful, thankful for so many things, and we know that's given. You're supposed to do that. However, recently I was listening to somebody talk about gratitude, and she started with the small things that we take for granted. I mean, just the fact if you don't need somebody else's help to do something physical for yourself, or if you can smell, or if you can see, or taste, or walk. I mean, these are things that money can buy that are so amazing. And we need to start with being grateful for that amazing stuff that we take for granted, that it's just going to happen. We're going to get up and go do our day without giving a second thought about what it really means, taking a hard look at yourself, that you're moving, that you can raise your arms to comb your hair, that you can make breakfast and taste it, that you can hear the birds outside. I mean, first and foremost, we need to be grateful for those things. And I can't say they're small things because they're not small things. Anybody who doesn't have any one of those would give all they have for it. But it's generally something that money can't buy. So instead of taking it for granted, when we give our gratitude, we need to remember where it starts and not take those things for granted. Then, yes, of course, we're grateful for the bigger things. Of course, our families, our homes, our cars, our friends. And one thing that I wanted to throw into this as well is that when we're praying and asking for specific things that we want, while we're waiting for them to come to pass, we need to be careful that our dialogue is not being negative. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I had a friend that every time we would go to lunch, she would say to the waitress, "What's in your blah, blah, blah," because I have allergies. And I start thinking about it. I thought, okay, she eats that a lot. So that's at least 3 times a day that she is out loud claiming, "I have allergies." And so not to say that you don't need to be diligent in watching what you eat when you do have allergies, but you don't need to tell the waitress. You can ask her what's in the food and then go from there. But I myself, for example, just this morning, in fact, I was thinking about somebody I spoke with lately who had kind of an attitude. And I was thinking about what they said. And I felt my mood start to change. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to believe and live with the attitude that how she sounded had nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect my life. And my mood shifted instantly. So it's important the dialogue that we say to ourselves. So we need to be grateful for what we have. But there's a lot we're still working on, we're still envisioning, we still want. And so you've got to be very careful. You've got to watch your tongue. And then that brings me to the second thing I wanted to talk about. When I talk about watching your tongue, watching yourself, you need to be careful that you're not easily distracted. By that, I mean, and I'm going to give you a hypothetical, say where somebody was singing a song and you hit a note that you lost it, and your mind starts to go to where, oh no. Well, while you're in that oh no mode, you're not giving your best to the rest of the song. You're making the incident go that much longer. So when something happens that you think is unfavorable, let it go. Even if it just happened a second ago, it's still in the past. Let it go. Keep going where you are right then and there, 100%. You always want to give your best. I was listening to a professional tennis player speak. Somebody asked him, are you nervous before a tournament? And he said, no, you can't be. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to do well. And you've got to believe that and walk in that. And that holds true for everything that we do. We need to go there with an attitude that we can do it, that we're going to do it, until that thought pattern becomes your way of life. I was reaching for something and I had trouble grabbing it. So I told myself, I can do it. And I just totally got it out of my head that I couldn't do it. And I went forward and grabbed it very easily. So it showed me, for example, I mean, that was a minor, small thing, but it showed me that our thinking is everything, and we have to keep our thinking focused. And the third thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I will elaborate a little more on all of these things, when you get your thinking adjusted, when you're at a place where you can be positive, where you're in the present moment, where you're being your best self, you can look out at the world and the world will open up for you. You may not see it now, but believe me, it can be broader. It can be bigger. If you adjust your thinking, adjust your living, and be your best self, there's a whole new extension to the world out there just waiting for you because you're connected to it. You're connected to all the people out there in the world. I remember one time we moved away and then we had to move back. And when I came back, I had lost touch with old friends. I just felt disconnected, I guess you would say. But I didn't know that's what I was feeling. All I knew is that I didn't feel right. And I went to this lady's house because she had a computer that she would hook to you, and it would tell you how you're feeling. I swear to you, to this moment, I have no idea how it happened. But the computer said I felt disconnected. And I thought, well, bingo, that's exactly how I feel disconnected. I felt disconnected from the world, disconnected from friends. It was a very obvious feeling, but I never thought of it in those terms. So once it was brought to my attention, from there I knew what I had to work on, and it was a blessing. And from there I ended up making vision boards, and they really work. I started cutting out groups of people, having a good time, paste them all over my board, put the car on there that I wanted, did everything. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the vision board, it's just a piece of cardboard with pictures of the things that you want to come to pass glued on it. So when I did that, I set it aside and bam, it took I don't know how long, because it kind of builds. Not everything doesn't happen overnight. But I ended up with a circle of friends, a car that I absolutely love. What I'm getting at is the world did open for me. And it's been better and better, but it wasn't until recently that it seems when you get to where you can let all the negativity go and let your thoughts only be called upon when you need them, that you're not in this endless chatter going on in your head, that you're walking in a purpose, then you will open your eyes and you will see the world as a much larger place, and you will feel connected to it. And it's an amazing feeling to be connected to the whole world. You're part of it, and don't ever think you're not. Even if you're not feeling it yet, even if you're not seeing it yet, you are connected. You're a very important part of this world. It's interesting how we observe the world a certain way. And God bless the people that try to tell you not to do something, not to take a step, because they are possibly not where you're at in their limited vision of the world or version of the world. But it depends on where you are and what your limits are in your thinking. So when you can see the world as a big place that you're connected to, there is no limit. And this is a part of life, a part of living that you didn't even know existed. And if you were to stop your growth, say 10 years ago or whatever, you might have missed this. You might be acknowledging that there is a whole nother, a much broader version that you weren't even aware of, that you did not even know existed, that's opened up to you. I'm going to bounce back to gratitude now. When I refer to the bigger things, beyond your physical being, beyond your family, and we get into friends and the material items like your home, your car, etc., those are really just icing on the cake. The things that I mentioned earlier, the things that money can't buy, the way your body moves, your health, your family, those things are priceless. And we need to not be negative about any of it. We need to not claim negativity. I was thinking to myself how many times I've shared with you about my mobility problems. I don't know how many times I've done that. How many times have I claimed that I'm having mobility problems? I need to stop doing that. And if it's really pertinent and I need to share that with you for whatever reason, I will. But for the most part, I need to stop saying that about myself. Because what happens when we do that is the very things we don't want, or the things that we're claiming, basically. Things that you focus on the most, the things that you talk about the most, are the things that you're attracting to you. So try to not dwell on the problems. Even I know it's hard sometimes, especially when it's something big that's affecting your life, but really try to focus on the more positive things. The other is that you don't need to keep claiming it, because there is a law of attraction. And what you talk about, what you visualize, what you dwell on, is what you're pulling towards you. It basically comes down to adjusting our thinking. And I know how life is. I'm here living it with you. I know things come at you, sometimes hard and strong. But I think the more that you adjust your thinking, and the more you reel yourself in, until it becomes a way of life. And then you'll look back and you'll say, wow, I used to think that way. Or you will hear others that are in a real negative mode. You almost can't bear it. You almost can't listen to it because you can hear what they're doing and saying so easily, because your mind will feed your body exactly what you're thinking about. So with everything we do, with every struggle we have, we need to feed ourselves the positive until it becomes a way of life, until it becomes a way of our natural thinking. And don't forget, when success does come your way, when the very things that you have been wanting, visualizing, preparing yourself for do come your way, stay 100% focused. Even if you make a mistake, you are a human being. You're not a robot. Human beings do make mistakes, but the important thing is to stay focused. I realize when I'm doing something and I get distracted and I let my mind go elsewhere, that's when I make my mistakes. It's happened over and over again. So regardless of what's going on, you want to stay successful. You want to stay focused. If there's a mistake, let it go. Don't let your mind dwell on the mistake. That is the past. It's behind you. Keep going in that successful frame of mind. Stay 100% present in whatever you do. So this being a threefold podcast, because I thought these three things, they do go together. I've broken them down into three separate issues, and they are important. It's important to give gratitude and starting and recognizing that the little things or the things you take for granted are actually big things, and thank God for those things. They come naturally to us. The second is when we do get the opportunities that we have been wanting and working toward, that we don't get distracted for a minute, that we stay present at all times, because when you're distracted is when you make mistakes. When you're doing something, you do make a mistake. You don't dwell on the mistake, even if it's for 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds that you're not giving your full attention to the task at hand. So let it go. Even if it happened a second ago, it's still the past. You don't want to look at it. Just keep going in a successful frame of mind. And thirdly, when you walk in all this, and when you walk in the other things that we've talked about, step by step, the world will start to get larger and larger. You will start to see it as a bigger place, a place with more opportunities, a place where no matter what you're doing isn't so foreign, because you have every right to be there, just like anybody else does. You are a part of this world, and this world is a part of you. With that being said, God bless you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.